Welcome back to the Ask Matty show. Our portfolios are up. It's a great day, but Matty, how are you feeling?
I'm actually doing a lot better. I caught some sort of this maybe COVID strain, the newest strain over this last week. So today, finally feeling better. Glad to be at my desk, ready to be talking about crypto today.
Team, we are going to be talking about crypto like Matty said. We're going to be talking about Casper, Ethereum, and trading. But before we get into that, team, check out our website, Crypto Charge. The link is in our pinned comment below. Go check out what we got going over there. Our community is all over there. Our community is not on YouTube. It's on our website. So go join the team over there. Under that link, that pinned comment link, is our shop link. And finally, team, please subscribe to this channel. We're growing fast. Become a part of our YouTube community. But in today's show, your questions, your hot takes, we're about to get into it. Matty, are you ready?
Let's do this thing.
Jasmine Jackson 9181 says, how do I sell Casper?
So when you guys ask yourself, like, how do I sell this? Think about where you bought it, because most likely where you bought it, you're going to be able to sell it. Really two major exchanges right now that you can sell your Casper on. And again, I do think in the very near future, we probably get a big listing on exchange, like a Coinbase or a Binance or a Kraken or something like that, right? I think that that's coming in the very near future. We'll have a little bit more liquidity. As of right now, probably the most liquid exchange that you're going to be able to set a limit order on that I could tell you with some fair certainty that it'll get filled, accurately and not with a huge spread is going to be MEXC. Use a VPN if you're in the US right now, kind of the last standing big exchange outside of the US right now, that at least that I liked, right? Like kind of these full service ones. And, you guys can drop below what you think that your favorite exchange is and why it's better than MEXC. If you got something else, great. I'd love to check it out. I genuinely love doing reviews. So if you got something better MEXC, let me know. But number two that you can do, and I know some of you guys are just still using Uphold, and I understand why you're doing it. You like the DCA feature. You'd rather just stay consistent with the investing. And you can sell there. Here's what I will say though, about selling on Uphold. And I've talked about this previously, is that their limit orders really don't execute very well. And I've tried it both on the buy side and the sell side. I've had orders just not fill altogether. And I'm not saying, you get a 1/10 of a cent off and it wasn't filled. I'm not talking about that. I understand that happens. I've been in the foreign exchange markets a long time. I'm talking about let's say a $2,000 order not filling when there's plenty of price action liquidity at those prices, and you had it set for hours or months or days or whatever. That drives me nuts. So if you're going to sell an Uphold, I would say do the manual execution. Whatever you see prices getting up there, you get set an alert and says $6 is present. Not $6, but let's just throw it out there. $6. I'm manifesting it. No, but let's just say 80 cents is crossing, and then you decide, okay, I'm going to get a notification and I'm going to go sell it as just a manual order. But again, you're just going to get better execution with MEXC. If it does become available on Coinbase, I will absolutely be doing it there. That's just no hassle for me. Their advanced feature is very, very excellent. It's easy to use, really good execution, deep liquidity. Coinbase has very deep liquidity. So try to do it on MEXC. If you have to do an Uphold, I would recommend doing it as a market order instead of a limit order. But I'm really thinking and hoping that we get a listing on one of our more preferred US-based exchanges here, hopefully before we get into this next bull run.
Matty, you just brought up a notification. Where do you do that to get a notification where a certain crypto reaches a certain price?
Yeah, so TradingView is kind of like my service pistol as an analyst. So it's always on my phone, always on my desktop, and you can set alerts there for if you have a free account. I think they limit how many you can set, but you sign up, which you should, in my opinion, if you're going to have quite a bit invested. $12 a month, $10 a month, whatever it is for the basic plan. You get unlimited notifications and whatnot. So you can say, hey, when price is crossing this level, or if it's crossing the 100-day moving average. There's so many parameters you can set in there without having to directly be in your program when it's happening. So you get a text or a push notification, and you can go do it that way. But again, if you have the ability to move the tranche on, a few nights before when you see prices getting close, just set the limit. It's less work, less things to think about, less mistakes.
Mosh_USA says, question, Matt, if we make $1 million in crypto, how do I cash it if there's limits on withdrawals? Do we move it to USDC, then pull out daily limits?
So most of these exchanges, if you verify or even just request for an increase in your withdrawal, limit. Sometimes they ask for a little bit more information. Sometimes you have to do like a stage 2 verification. It just kind of depends on what's happening. It also kind of depends on like what kind of volume you're doing. So if you've already been doing, let's say like tens of thousands in volume, right? Like they're going to maybe accommodate you based on, what they see you're doing. They're going to try to make it, reasonable for you. But, I'd say that you should probably be able to pull $1 million out in a single day. I don't know what you would need it all for right that very second. Again, there's so many vehicles that you can just park it in. Like you have USDC already, right? And you're going to maybe put some of that on Coinbase to earn that 5%, right? There, it's probably out of all the places that are earning yield right now, right? Publicly traded company based here in the US, treasury markets were paying, 5, like 4.5 right now, right? Like those are rates they can pay, because if you think about how USDC is backed right now, right? It's like mostly treasury bonds, cash and cash equivalents. So it's not like, this volatile model. Like they're able to keep up with what should be paid in traditional financial markets right now. So, but other than that, what I plan to do is I'm going to park some, to earn interest wherever that ends up being, right? Hopefully maybe even the next 2 years we get regulatory clarity, and there was able to be a lot of lending products where it's very clear and the terms are there and there's protections for consumers, right? I might leave more of it there, but my plan as of right now is to keep most of my stable coins in cold storage, and of course, make a withdrawal as needed. But there's no really big reason, in my opinion, to exit and in and out of your bank account constantly, right? Maybe you need to pay taxes, you need to take some stuff to take care of the things you've been planning on, whatever, buy that dream car. But the rest of it, like it's just sitting in your bank account. It's not going to be doing much for you, right? So make sure that you're at least parking it in some sort of interest-bearing vehicle, whether it be a treasury bond or USDC or whatever you find fit.
Crypt_O_money says, why on earth would you trade? The probabilities are not in your favor.
Yeah, the probabilities are not always in your favor, and that's correct. I would say, with trading, it is all a series of probabilities. And a lot of that's even with investing too, right? Like you can have good technical setups on assets that, are potentially fundamentally unsound, or maybe there's like a micro cap out there, and the lack of liquidity within that pool makes it easily manipulated and it blows some of those technical structures out, right? But when you have assets that move really, really well through deep liquidity pools, like Bitcoin, for example, right? Like there's not a single exchange that has bad execution on Bitcoin, because there's just so many people willing to do market making for Bitcoin, right? So you have a bid and an ask price, right? So and the difference between that is what these market makers make. So when you have these deeper liquidity pools, the reason that these patterns work out like they do in the foreign exchange markets and the stock market, highly liquid markets, right, is because market makers like to pull price to and from zones, right? There's going to be larger institutions, banks, people who have way more money you could possibly imagine to make your trade look like it never even happened, right? And they're the ones placing the bigger orders at those prices. So however you want to chop it up, automated market makers do pull price from zone to zone. So that's why things like support and resistance do work. If you're going to be out there every morning trying to take 30 trades on a 1, 2 minute, 5 minute chart, yeah, you're probably going to get your ass kicked, because most of you guys are definitely not emotionally, capable to handle that, let alone even a swing trade, right? Like I've taught people many times about all the parameters you need to set up. If you've identified, done all the work on the chart, you decide it's a good risk to reward ratio, because again, when we set up these trades, we're not just automatically saying, hey, Bitcoin, I think it goes up, so I'm just going to leverage trade this. No, we have parameters. We say, is the risk reward ratio good enough based on where I want to put my stop loss and my take profit? If no, then there's no trade, right? So we do want to still try to put as many probabilities in our favor as possible, right? Which way is the trend going? Are we trading with the trend? If we trade against the trend, yeah, we're going to take a probability out of our favor, right? We start to buy up against resistance, right? We're taking a probability out of our favor, right? We're going to buy or sell against a classic continuation pattern. You're taking probabilities out of your favor. So yes, you need risk management. You need to put as many probabilities in your favor as possible, and you can be profitable, but it's not for everybody. And I'm not going to pretend like it is. You need to make the decision that you're not only going to learn all the technical stuff, which is actually not even the most difficult part. It's managing your emotions. And once you set up the trade parameters, just going, that's fine, I've let it go. Because most of you guys have terrible risk management. You bet too much, you risk too much. I recommend, for most people getting started, 0.5% to 1% of your total portfolio per trade. So you have a $1,000 portfolio, you want to risk 1% of it, you should only be risking $10 on that trade, right? So you're not going to cry about losing $10, but you're going to be happy about making 30 if you're looking for a 3-to-1, right? So that's really what it comes down to, is it's about agreeing to your set of rules, understanding your technical, backing very, very well, and then just executing and taking your hand off the wheel. It's step 3 that people really can't comprehend. So I hope you look into it a little bit more. I hope you don't write off trading as a whole until you learn a little bit more, but those are some of the things that I'd recommend you look into, especially risk management.
Bant 65 says, You regular well-intentioned chap. XRP / ripples biatch smelling like a fishing village on a hot day. Tell me why I'm wrong. Respect your content?
I could not even tell you what this could be in reference to for any regard. I would say not like I piss off the XRP community, but I do ruffle feathers for people who just have been sold this pipe dream of, riddles and, $10,000 overnight and the 20% APY from BlackRock that they're going to pay you, that's some of the stuff that I think that people get really upset about. Everything that I've talked about XRP wise, fundamental wise, are things that you can go look and back up, right? Like when I'm talking about banks that they've worked with, when I'm talking about the raw technology itself, they're not my opinions on XRP. Do I think that XRP has some of the highest utility out of any payment solution? Yeah, sure. But that's also backed with a lot of facts, right? I've never been paid even to do a review. I've never even taken any money to do any reviews on our YouTube. I'd rather just keep it raw with you guys, bring you guys the stuff that I actually like. Gavin gets emails all the time from exchanges asking us to do partnerships and stuff, but
some we've trashed, Matty. Exchanges we've trashed.
So, even at the time we were making content, right, talking badly about those exchanges, and I don't ever want to lose that integrity with any of the content I make for you guys. So, go ahead and call me Ripples, bitch. I don't care. Smells a whole lot better when you're swimming in money. So you do you, bro. Don't buy anything I'm buying if you think I'm full of it.
ETHMaxi 0985 says, why would you invest in Casper over ETH? Ethereum has been around longer, making it a superior long-term investment.
Well, on that logic, why don't you just go take all your money and just pack it into the Dow Jones right now? Just pack it all in. Dow Jones has been here longer than you and your good daddy, most likely, right? You have no idea how long markets take to maturate, right? You think about Bitcoin, you think about Ethereum, everyone's like, they've been around a long time. They always have a really nice pump each cycle. What happens each and every cycle? The actual return from those assets becomes less and less and less, diminishing returns. Why? Because even though we see the market cap growing for crypto as a whole, which it continues to grow each and every cycle, we make a new high for the total market cap. Even the last peak was around $3 trillion, right? We went from crypto as a whole being worth literally just a few billion to being worth 3 trillion in a decade, right? So it's been really, really big growth. But that does eventually start to slow. So even though you can have an industry that progresses, right, you still have to think about the market cap that is proportional to other stuff, right? Like the gold market, 12 to 13, 14 trillion dollars, right? And we're expecting that Bitcoin and Ethereum are going to do the same returns every single cycle. It's not what happens. And it's the same reason why you want to go pack all your money in the Dow Jones right now, because you even look, hey, what's a killer year for the Dow Jones? 20% for the whole year. Let's say things get really, really spicy. Let's say you do a 2x every single year on the Dow Jones. You still want to do it. Why? Because there's anything that you pick in crypto is going to be so much better than that, right? So age does not directly, translate to better gains or safer gains, right? I think in fact, a lot of the stock market's highly inflated. It's overly inflated. And if you have a lot of these assets being tokenized and maybe we start to have indices and indexes that run more on crypto rails, right? It's not so much highly concerned about the XRP market or the Bitcoin market, but the settlement of assets on those rails, right? And then that's where some of that utility sets in. So when we talk about Casper, right, I'm not saying that ETH dies or it's the ETH killer. Casper focuses on NFTs and smart contracts, right? Very familiar with Ethereum, but those smart contracts are fully upgradable and customizable inside the Casper network today, ready to go, right? Casper also came up with the proof of stake model from the get-go, right? There's just a lot of benefits to Casper outside of, just that as well, right? You also have the fees that are predictable. That's one of the most important things, I think, is that when you go to do an Ethereum transaction, you literally have no idea what it's going to cost you. Like if it's in the bull run, it could be hundreds of dollars, it could be thousands of dollars, or when in bear market, it could be a handful of change. So, things do have to change on ETH, and whether a competitor does it first or they fix it, right? That's kind of up to them. But I think that Casper's already taken that bull by the horns. And I think that we're definitely going to see some very heavy competition and definitely outpacing ETH gains wise in this upcoming run.
Great answers, Matty. You recently just talked about our grandpappies making money in the stock market. Are you investing in stocks at all? Because I have people like Brian that talk about, stocks all the time. Are you even looking to invest in stocks at all? Because I just can't even imagine. This is our asset class of our generation. Like this is like
Right.
there's people today that listen today's music, and then there's people that listen of music of the past. I feel like I would like to be listening to music of today. I want to be a part of a generation, Matty. So what are you doing? Are you investing in stocks anymore, or what are you doing on that front?
Yeah, I'm not in the stock market at all right now. I guess my only quote unquote allocation that you could potentially count is I did a small contribution via Link2 to do pre-IPO for Ripple, but that's pretty obvious why I'm executing on that. It's a fintech company that's still, in my opinion, very young compared to how big and how strong of a competitor it could be in the fintech space, and I definitely will be allocating a lot more after it comes out, right? I'm kind of hedging a little bit in the event that like there is maybe a spike in price and I'm able to make a little profit. But I think more often than not, you have IPOs that kind of launch, you get some nice price action, and you get a pretty good sized correction. So definitely going to be allocating more dollars after the market matures a little bit. To Ripple. The only other asset that I'm looking at to potentially pick up, but only if we dive down and really just see some egregious prices, is PayPal. And they just have their hands in so many cookie jars. They've really just collected everybody's info, got them so comfortable with having every single payment method hooked up to one platform. It's integrated absolutely everywhere. They're deep in crypto now. They have their own stablecoin, which I don't think will be super successful, but I don't have any hesitations about the long-term value of PayPal. So those are really the only two things. Again, it's all payment oriented, and that's kind of where my head stays. But those are the only two things I'm looking at. Other than that, just my index universal life policy, which technically, gains performance against the stock market, but I also don't lose any money if the stock market has a bad year. So those are really the main vehicles outside of crypto that I consider valuable.
Great insight, Matty. We've had an interesting last couple of shows. People have been coming at our necks, really. Like we talked about some controversial things apparently with exchanges and cryptos and whatever. If you have a controversial crypto take, leave it in the comment section down below and we'll bring it up. We're not afraid of these communities, Matty, that want to just tackle.
Right, yeah, let's have a discussion about it for sure. I think that everyone wants to have this big hard opinion, but I think you can look at the facts and say, hey, there's probably a little bit of truth in all of this, and I'd rather just discuss everything on the table versus only talking about things that we're highly passionate about.
I like that. Team, a lot of stuff going on our website, in our Discord. Go check us out there. Link in the pinned comment down below. Do not wait. Join the community. Join all the other Crypto Charge members. It's been popping over there. We're doing trades. Matty breaks down trades over there, which is something that I'm going to be also utilizing for trades going forward. And then obviously we have, great moderators and, great community over there. So go check us out over there. Any last words, Matty?
Make sure you guys are using the code YouTube at checkout.
Nice.
You guys are going to get 50% off, right? Because right now it says $1,000 for the year, or it says $99 a month. Y'all don't want to pay that, right? So pop in YouTube, get 50% off either membership. So it's going to be $50 a month or $49 a month for the monthly. But if you pick the annual option, it basically comes out to like $41 a month. So you almost save yourself another $9, $10 there by going with that yearly option. So check them both out. Both options do come with a 30-day free trial. So you guys have the option to cancel up to 29 days in before you're charged for the actual membership. So you guys get an opportunity to kind of check out the platform, jump in the Discord, see what it's all about.
Words of wisdom, Matty. Great show today. We will see you next week, team. Adios.